What's happening, my fellow geeks and geekettes? Welcome to a brand new episode of Chris's Custom Collectibles. Now, in honor of the upcoming Avengers Infinity War film, we are going to be pimping out the Hasbro Infinity Gauntlet. Sounded like it just blasted a huge fart. Now, I know you're probably all thinking, why aren't we pimping out the high-end 1-to-1 scale collectible? Well, to be honest, it's 250 Australian dollars. This baby was $35, so we're gonna try and make it look just as good as the 1-to-1 scale replica, and that's what custom collectibles are all about. It's taking something cheap, doing it on the cheap to make it look expensive. Now, the unfortunate thing about this piece is you pay $30 for it and not all of the Infinity Stones light up. That is fine, you know, we can work with that. At least this one lights up. It still has the sound feature, so I am gonna be keeping the speaker open there because I'm gonna have it displayed like in the post-credit scene when Thanos says, fine, I'll do it myself. So in terms of the paint scheme, it's very simple. It's a mix of gold, washes, coppers, highlights, a bit of rub and buff here and there. So the first step is to prime this plastic, and we also have to get rid of some of the copyright insignia here and all that legal mumbo jumbo that we just love. So the primer that I'm gonna... This is gonna get annoying. So the primer that I'm gonna be using is from Super Cheap Auto. It's a plastic and fiberglass primer. Now, I have done a little test on the rubber section here because some of you mentioned in my previous video when I showed you guys that this is gonna be an upcoming custom collectible, that the rubber section here tends to get sticky if you do paint it. I've done a little test area on the finger pieces here, and there seems to be next to no tackiness here. So this is gonna be a definite go ahead in terms of priming the plastic. After that, I still have to decide what gold I'm going to be using for a spray paint for the base color. Then we can move into the detailing section, and then of course the base. Nothing majorly over the top, but that's what custom collectibles are all about, guys. So that being said, let's get to it. Alright geeks, now that we've let the black acrylic wash completely dry over the whole gauntlet, it's time to go in for the detailing section. Now, I am keeping the blue tack on all the Infinity Stones until I'm completely happy and satisfied with the whole paint job, and then I'll remove it. So the next step is to start some dry brushing, and we're going to start to dry brush some gold all over the whole gauntlet to highlight all the hard edges. So for that, I'm just going to be using a gold from Model Masters. Just got ourselves a cheap disposable brush here. Now, in terms of the art of dry brushing, it's essentially trying to get as minimal paint on the tips of the bristles as possible and quickly wisping it and wiping it all over the piece, especially where the hard edges are, and that's going to pick up and highlight all of the piece itself. Then after that, I'm going to be using a combination of a copper color from Model Masters and some copper rub and buff. You guys have seen Adam Savage use this stuff in the tested videos a lot. This stuff is amazing, so this will be great for all the highlights of the insignia here on the sides. So from what I've seen, it's a very basic sort of detailed paint job on the screen using Infinity Gauntlet, the one that Josh Brolin has at Comic-Con. So, you know, there's not real much to it. It's a very simple process, but once it's done, it looks a treat. So I've just poured a bit of gold out on this disposable piece of MDF. Just get it all over the tip of the brush. And just start dabbing like that. Grab your piece, and then we're just gonna start going over it like so. Now, the effect is minimal, but in the long run, it does make a big difference. And you can notice already just how much it's highlighted all the hard edges of the detail there. So thanks very much for watching, guys. I am over the moon with the end result, and to be honest, there was not much work required, which makes it even more amazing in terms of the end result. Now, I thought I'd show you guys this. This is the original base that I was opting for. You know how I said I wanted to emulate that post-credit scene where Thanos slips his hand into the Infinity Gauntlet and it's almost resting on this organic bunch of pipes that kind of balance it. So this is originally what I was going to be going for, and as you can tell, it just looks like a complete and utter mess. So that is why I scrapped this idea, and also when the gauntlet was resting on the back portions, it just didn't really fit right. Some bits of the pipe weren't touching the gauntlet and it just looked unnatural. So that is why I opted for something a bit more simple and a bit more of a museum quality. So next week marks episode 5 of the Captain Without a Country. Episode 5 is actually the second last episode, so that episode is going to be dedicated to pimping out the boots for the Captain Nomad cosplay. Guys, wherever you are in the world, have yourselves a cracker of a day. I hope you're well, hope you're happy, be merry, be silly, and until next time, geeks, please always remember, cosplayers do it best.